Alright. We'll test audio while it's just rusty. Just the old Rustarino. Alright. We'll test audio while it's just rusty. Okay. I thought maybe people wouldn't want me to do patch note video, because usually we have pretty low viewership for these, but I asked the Discord people and they said you can do it, so I am beholden to my owners. Oh, we went down to one person watching. No, rip. No, two. I refuse to start until we have at least 30, so I will now sit here with my arms crossed. Harumph. I read through the patch notes when I woke up. Didn't know if people want to stream or not, so usually I like to go through these blind, but I actually know it's in here already. I did skip over a lot of the campaign stuff, so I guess that's new to me, but I don't care too much about random campaign things. They have some good bug fixes for a campaign, but I don't know. I would hope they do. Alright, 3 people? 3 people's plenty. Let's get through this, because I have a bunch of crap to do today. Alright. So patch 1.2 is out. In the roadmap, they said they would fix a lot of the big problems facing the community at the moment, which is good. At least they know what the problems are. The main things in the roadmap they mentioned to be fixed in this patch would be ranged units actually firing and unit responsiveness, with flying units in particular, being able to attack ground units. Hooray. Hooray, hooray. They also mentioned the first Regiments of Renown are here. Spoiler alert, I am extremely underwhelmed with the Regiments of Renown, but okay. I like this change. This change is mentioned 2 or 3 times, but it's pretty good. Mounts now automatically unlock for characters in campaign. No skill points necessary. That's good, because I long ago learned to just pick whatever mount I wanted for a lord, and then save up until I had skill points so they're on foot till then, because you just don't want to waste one of your 40 skill points on a random horse you're going to use for 3 levels. So it's good that they just get them. It gives you an actual reason to switch mounts. Auto-resolve improvement, AI improvements. Cool. Let's get on with it. Download, download, download. Great. The Regiments of Renown are all pretty underwhelming except for 2. Celestial Dragon Guard, yay! Super elite halberd units. They can now get magic damage and magic resist. Okay. They also get encouraged. Okay. Elite halberds, slightly more elite. The Hellforged Host, Exalted Bloodletters of Khorne. Wait a second. Is it just all of the top tier infantry for each faction? Except for the Ogres? Yes. Which is why I was kind of underwhelmed, is that there's no variety in the Regiments of Renown. That's all just like, take your most expensive infantry unit. That's a Regiment of Renown. So whatever. Hellforged Host, heavy armor, and apparently better weapon strength. I don't know. That's super underwhelming. Zargard, the fire damage. Okay. Festering Stooges, they get regen. It says healing over time and restoring their numbers through defensive abilities. That's awfully vague, so we'll have to see what it is, but okay, they're tankier. The Powder Guts are the only ones that I kind of find interesting, because it's not the Man-Eaters with great weapons, it's the Ogre Pistols, so it's like the only Regiment for now that came that wasn't just the best melee infantry in the faction. Firing faster with greater range and accuracy. So, we'll see what that is, but Sniper Ogres, I guess. Bringers of Beguilement, they kind of have the Sisters of Singing Doom effect from the Dark Elves. It's just, they have Rampage on contact. Perfect Vigor is also nice, but it's not a huge deal. The Rampage is a much bigger effect. These guys are interesting, but I don't think it's going to be healthy. It's either going to be useless or extremely toxic. The Blazing Squealers apparently give more ammunition to units around them, which could make Tzeentch annoying. Like, especially if they can affect the Burning Chariot up in the sky that's entirely balanced around its massive weapon strength being limited by ammunition. But if they can give it ammunition back, then That's some horseshit. You could just hide them in a forest so they don't die, and then occasionally fly your burning chariot back there and get more ammo. That would be pretty toxic. So we'll see. Multiplayer leaderboard reset. That's self-explanatory. Bunch of stability improvements where people's games will crash less. Not really worth going into every single one. Already talked about that. Auto-resolve is now based on the battle difficulty rather than the campaign difficulty. I actually don't know how I feel about that. It does benefit me personally. Because I play on normal battle difficulty legendary campaigns, so it'll make auto-resolves easier. So I guess I'm happy about it, but I don't actually know if that's better for the game as a whole. We'll have to see. I know people have been having issues with auto-resolve being too intense, but... I guess if people want the real, quote-unquote, like, challenge mode, you can do legendary, and then nothing should change. So we'll see. AI behavior. Increase the aggression of AI players. Initiate siege attacks. That is good, because too many times they just sit around and just siege you out. I am curious about the significantly toned down anti-player bias. Because my problem wasn't as much the enemy AI targeting me. My problem was my allied AI doing literally nothing. So we'll see if they do more stuff. Unit responsiveness. Basically, all of these things just help ranged units actually shoot over and over again. They mention it. Ranged units will rotate and fire. Ranged units will not perform properly after rotating. Resolved issues would result in units ignoring orders. Resolved issues which prevent flying units from attacking single entities. Reduce the delay before ranged units can fire a volley. Reduce the delay before ranged units can respond to issued commands. So, yeah. They've hoped that they have fixed the ranged units. Okay. Ooh, I didn't notice this last sentence. This will be a long-term project, but we believe these are some positive steps towards creating a more engaged battlefield. I mean, yeah, they're positive steps. That worries me in that they know it's not finished yet. Manual fire is re-enabled for multiplayer. That's good. And then plagues. Demons of Chaos. Skip. Cathay. Harmony icon will no longer block the cursor. That's probably good. Alright. This is... Cathay got big buffs, and it's because they suck in domination mode. But I'm wondering if they become OP in land battles. Celestial Dragon Crossmen were recently coming to the fore as being a really, really good unit, and now they got a cost decrease, which is a buff to already a good unit. Celestial Dragon Guard, they got a buff. They're pretty underwhelming, so yeah, reducing their cost is good. Crane Gunners got 3 buffs in a row. Increased damage, pretty who cares. I mean, it's fine. Projectiles now penetrate infantry, which is good. And improve the overall accuracy of the unit. That's good. That's good. They, as I recently made a video about, are very inaccurate. So hopefully with the ranged unit changes and with the Crane Gunner changes, Crane Gunners will actually be good. But their cost is increased as a result. Firing Rocket lost 100 gold. That's good. Great Long Riders lost 100 gold. I don't know how I feel about that, but okay. Jade Lancers increase the charge bonus. Okay. Woojing War Compass. Woojing War Compass and all of the greater demons of chaos got a change where their spells are no longer Winds of Magic Tide. They're just bound, which I think is actually a pretty big nerf, but we'll get to that. Anyway, well, it's buff for the Woojing War Compass. It's a big nerf for all those demons. Cost of the Astromancer mount increased from 400 to 600. Okay, probably still won't take him on that. Just makes him too big of a target. So the Woojing War Compass is now of 2 bound casts of Uranus Thunderbolt and 2 bound casts of Common of Cassandora, but they're both weaker than the normal cast. Lord Magistrate abilities all got cheaper. Dragon Breath got reduced damage per second to 21 from 28. This is base version, which means the Overcast might still be broken, but I don't know. Maybe they just left it out. I still think Dragon's Breath will be a good spell. I just don't know if it'll be completely broken anymore. Yeah. We talked about all this. This is just Celestial Comet getting nerfed on the Woojing War Compass specifically, just because it's free. A bunch of technology changes we're not going to go through because you can find those out on your own if you really care about the technologies. That's in campaign only. Corn. We're content with the balance of corn 1.1. Okay. I heard he's good in domination modes. That's probably what they're talking about. Campaign stuff, skip. Bloodthirsters, got a cost decrease. Cultists, all the cultists seem to get a cost increase. This worries me. The Gorby's chariot wasn't a bad chariot. It's not great, but it wasn't bad. They increased the mass of it to 2,000 from 1,400, which on the paper doesn't look that good. But remember, the reason the charge bonus of the Kislev chariots is so fucking strong is because their mass is insane. So your mass increases your charge damage. So I'm worried that increasing melee defense, increasing melee attack, and increasing the charge bonus is pretty bad. Yeah, Matthew Coffin, we already covered them. I was extremely underwhelmed. I mean, I'll take any free content. I'm not against them being in the game, but I think they're pretty unimpressive. Herald of Corn. This is just silly. The Locus of Wrath is a very, very, very strong ability, and it used to apparently cost 50 gold. So now it costs 200, like it probably should have the whole time. Minotaurs of Corn got a cost decrease, so did their Great Weapon variant. That's good. There. Yeah. So they just got a cost decrease, which is good. And hopefully the unit responsiveness will also help them out, so maybe it'll be a twofer. Skull Cannon increased health. It was very, very squishy. I still think it'll be very squishy, though. Increased base weapon damage. Multiplayer cost decreased. And so 3 buffs in a row for the Skull Cannon. I still don't think they're going to be very good, but buffs are buffs. Skull Crushers get 10 bonus versus large. That's good. They needed that. They had no anti-large cav. Totem of Endless Bloodletting increased the melee attack bonus from 5 to 8. Okay, that's fine. This is funny. Dogfighting fixed an issue where the tech would offer Vanguard deployment to all units in addition to Strider for the Fleshhound. So I made a video about it where I thought this was a useless tech because it gave Vanguard to a unit that had Vanguard. And then everyone corrected me, and they were right, saying it actually gives Vanguard to all your units. So it was the best tech. And now this is funny because they're like, no, that was a bug. The tech was supposed to be useless. It's just supposed to give Strider to a Fleshhound now. So the original intent was to give Vanguard to a unit that already had Vanguard. But then there was a bug that accidentally made that a useful thing. But now they fixed the bug where it was useful and gave it Strider. A lot of these changes feel like they just took them from Turin's blog post thing that he put up on his website. What did he put up? Blogs. I'm looking at blogs. I don't see it. Renless, what are you talking about? All right. Renless, I can't find what you're talking about. You crazy. I see a Cathay guide by Umayu's, playing campaign to prepare for multiplayer by me, an interview with Houseplant, F&G's article about is the game fun, A Move Hackers Learning Growing, and then Chaff Wins Games by Jay Phoenix. Okay. I've checked his post again, but quite a lot of these are very similar. He took it down, it looks like. It's not on there anymore. Oh, okay. I see. Anyway. Technology changes. Skip over them. You can read those if you want to. Kislev. Our objective in 1.2 is to reassess the performance of sleds. Okay. It doesn't say anywhere in here that I saw that they reduced sleds to 4 like they should be, or 3. I forget if it's 3 or 4, but they're currently the only sled you can take in domination mode quick battles that you can have 6. Lindsay, if you didn't want me to do this stream, you should have voted. The vote to make me do this was 8-1, and the 1 was me just starting the vote. Silly. When you streaming Lego Legends, I don't know, whenever people vote for it, it's usually the least voted for thing. Anyway, Griffin Legion, get 10 more armor. Woo! And 50 less gold. Woo! Probably still not a good unit. Heavy War Sled loses 1,000 mass. Less armor-piercing weapon damage and reduced range. All pretty good changes. Ice Guard Glaives and Ice Guard both lost 50 gold, which is good. Light War Sled loses about 1,000 mass again. Light War Sled reduced armor-piercing weapon damage and reduced range. Okay. Again, pretty good. Still probably going to be good units, but now they might be prohibitively expensive. Starguard with great weapons, increased melee defense. They didn't really need that, but okay. And Warbear Riders got a little bit of a buff too. That's fine. Rusty, when is the next Warhammer 2 tournament? Literally tonight. It is tonight. And hey for Poland. It's posted on my Discord in tournaments. Yeah, it's the last post in tournaments, Rusty. Do your homework, man. Alright. Patriarchs got a cost increase in their abilities. It's pretty fine. This was weird. I did read this. Crystal Sanctuary gets some buffs. It's probably still not a very good spell. Ice Maiden's Kiss got some buffs. It's good now. Blizzard got some buffs. I still don't like it, but it's okay. And Biting Wind also got some buffs, which is okay. But, like, the Hawks of Miska suck ass. They didn't get any buffs. Like, I don't know. That spell's the worst spell in the whole Kislev roster, and it didn't get any buffs. It makes me sad. I have a video about it coming out soon, which I guess I should be happy they didn't buff it, because then the video wouldn't make any sense, but it's pretty bad. Hawks is a terrible spell. Any ogre buffs? Yeah, we're getting there. Calm your body. Technology, skipping through all that, you can figure it out. Nergal. So this is where we start talking about the bound spell thing. Cultists of Nergal increased cost, probably fine. Kugath Pestilent Decay, which is, I mean, he needs buffs, so okay. And Plague Toads and Plague Ridden might actually get good now. Plague Toads were okay last patch, not great. They were okay against infantry. The problem with Plague Toads, the short version is they were good at clearing out infantry, which Nergal was already exceptional at. So they didn't fill a niche that he needed, and then they did it worse than his other stuff. Maybe they forgot Tempest? No, Tempest has Blizzard and Biting Wind, I think. I know Tempest has Blizzard, which would seem counterintuitive, but Ice does not have Blizzard. Okay, but the big change here is Plague Ridden. Going down to 850 gold, losing 150 gold off of them is pretty insane. Plague Ridden might actually be good now. I'll have to do some testing, but that's a lot. This is a huge nerf, in my opinion, to all of the big single entities. Does Kugath have the aura thing now? I'm not sure like what Pestilent Decay is offhand. I would have to check. But the Great Unclean One, spells are now treated as abilities with only one use each. That's pretty brutal. That's actually a pretty huge nerf, in my opinion. It depends on how you look at it, right? But one cast of a spell that you can't overcast, so Stream of Corruption isn't going to be that oppressive if it's not overcast. It's still good, but it's not that oppressive. He gets one use of it. And then other than that, you're just paying for a big single entity. I don't know. I don't love that. Technologies, skip. You think those changes are good? Good to the spells or good to the single entities? Just making sure I understand. Pestilent Decay is a Mortis engine. Kugath should have the Mortis engine. Yeah. They changed that for all big SCMs. Yeah. Except for Khorne and stuff, but yeah. Ogre Kingdoms. We're mostly happy with the state of Ogres, aside from a few outliers. Greece has got a bunch of buffs. I remember that. Fire Ballet got some cost decreases on some of their underwhelming abilities. That's okay, but they're probably still going to be the worst caster until Larfire gets some buffs. Giant gets 15% missile resist. Woo! Nobblar's big nerf to Nobblar's, honestly. A 50 gold increase in a unit that only costs 200 is huge. Greasus might become the best lord. 50 more armor-piercing damage is fine, and multiplayer cost of the Horde Master ability reduced to 100 gold. So essentially, he gets reduced to 100 gold, and he gets 50 more armor-piercing, and I think they did something else. Yes, down here. Okay, so that's not the end of Greasus's buffs. You got 2 buffs right there. Hunter got 200 gold increase on Stonehorde mount. That's good. And Maneater's got a cost increase and a missile damage decrease. That's pretty brutal. So the Over-Tyrant's Crown, which is Grease's Goldtooth thing, it got 5% more flat damage resistance, and I believe that's in an aura. So you have to lump all 3 of those together is why I think Greasus will be actually pretty good. 50 more armor piercing damage, 100 gold less, and 5% more flat damage resistance. I think he's good. Pretty sure I said this was going to be out today. I was told I was wrong and stupid and terrible person, though that might have been related. Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah. All right. You think he'll struggle to hit things? Maybe. I've had good success with him into Kislev already, but regardless. Technology, no changes there. So Stonehorns are still going to be pretty strong, it looks like. I didn't see enough changes to them. Maybe the 400 gold between having Double Hunter and Stonehorns will change some stuff, but probably still see a lot of them. I'm curious about this. We've been happy where Slaanesh landed after update 1.1, so we're only making careful tweaks to account for the new power level of chariots across the game. I'm confused, because when I talk to a lot of Dom players, they think Slaanesh is pretty bad. And in land battles, Slaanesh is pretty bad. So that's very strange to me. Slaanesh armies can no longer... Oh, it's campaign, I don't give a shit. Okay, pass. The Allure-S, that's the caster, got 100 gold decrease on the Exalted Seeker Chariot mount. Okay, that's fine. Cultist Slaanesh, increased gold cost. Demonettes of Slaanesh, increased melee attack by 2. Oh boy, 2 melee attack. Exalted Seeker Chariot, reduced 50 gold. Oh boy. Hellflayers got more charge bonus. Hellflayers got a multiplayer cost reduced by 100. That's okay, but Hellflayers just aren't really a great unit, and they get stuck on things a lot. So they need some responsiveness changes. Though there are a bunch of responsiveness changes, so maybe Hellflayers will be good. I'll have to try it to really get... a thing on it. War Sled nerf hype, that is good. Slaanesh is bad? Yeah, they're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. In both domination and land battles. I just released a video a couple days ago about the spawn of Slaanesh, but they now get the soporific musk that they should have had this entire time. So they give AoE -5 melee attack and melee defense, so that's good. There. Who is pinging me? Oh, okay. CA is now announcing that update 1.2 has been released on, so you can read it, and I'm like, it's been out for a while. Thanks, CA. Keeper of Secrets, spells in Neutrina is 1 per use, which I still think is like... It's not a... I guess it's not a nerf. It depends on your opinion on it, but, I mean, like, using those half-ass spells once a piece... Oh boy, I'm so scared of 1 lash of Slaanesh, the thing that does very little damage. I don't know. Maybe like 2 uses each or something. I think 1 use each is going to be pretty pitiful. And tech changes you can figure out for yourself. Tzeentch continues to be one of the most powerful factions thanks to an excellent library of spells and a massive amount of warp firepower. I appreciate changes. I like that they're changing some things. I like that they're paying attention. That's cool. Also, like, everyone could have told you that Tzeentch maybe had a few too many things. Forsaken and Spawn is like the best front line in the game. Meanwhile, they have one of the only factions that has significant firepower. Plus, they have the best Lord Sniping kit in the game. Plus, they have some of the best spells in the game. Maybe this faction might be too strong on release, you guys. What? We're giving them shields? Okay, that also seems like a bit of a problem. They have one of the best flying forces in the game? That's also a little strange. Maybe they shouldn't have. What's that? They also have one of the only heavy cav that worked on release? Well, that's a little odd. Maybe Tzeentch is overtuned. Anyway. Screamers are one of the few underwhelming Tzeentch units. Okay. Yeah. This is a good change. Like, this is actually a good change. Screamers, all units deserve to be good. No one likes having bad units. But it's funny that I just went on a rant about Tzeentch maybe being too good. And their own quote says there continues to be one of the most powerful factions. And their first sentence afterwards is, so we buffed some of his units. Again, it's a good change. It's just funny. Lastly, we're keeping a critical eye on blue hordes with a higher cost, given they're one of the most efficient base infantry in the game. So, yeah, these sentences aside, like, this doesn't cover everything that happened to Tzeentch, and when I read it this morning, Tzeentch got fucked, dude. Like, I think he's gonna have a really bad time. So Blue Horrors, this gets the end result, but I don't like it, personally. Blue Horrors multiplayer costs increase from 400 to 500. That's actually a lot. Like, 100 gold increase on your base infantry unit. On a roster that's stupid expensive. Not unjustly so. I don't love that your chaff got more expensive. I wish Blue Horrors that got attacked by dogs wouldn't kill the dogs. Right? That's kind of what I want out of them. And keeping them just as annoyingly elite, but increasing their cost for me is it gets the same effect that Tzeentch gets some nerfs, and the nerfs around the Blue Horrors. So that's fine. I just would prefer weaker Blue Horrors rather than more expensive Blue Horrors, personally. But it's a good change. Cultists of Tzeentch, cost increase. Screamers get a buff, which they needed. Great. The Lord of Change gets one use of each ability. We talked about it multiple times, but again, this guy, he has the pink and blue fires, right? Pink fire is okay, undercasted. It's not great. You only get one of it. One undercasted blue fire is pretty meh. It's pretty okay. And then after that, it's just a Lord of Change who isn't a great single entity. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And then technology changes. So that's the entire change to Tzeentch. They said we're worried about them being one of the strongest factions, so they make their fucking front line 100 gold more expensive per piece, which is brutal. They changed the cost on occultists, which is okay, I guess, and then screamers. Not all the changes I would have liked to see. Not the direction I wanted them to go, but it is a good direction. So, yeah, I agree. Nerf Tzeentch. Like, again, I'm happy to make it clear, because I've been humming and hawing. I am happy Tzeentch is getting nerfs. He's just not getting nerfed in the direction I think would make him more interactive. But nerfs are nerfs. Campaign, there's a lot of fixed an issue, so it's all just bug fixes of campaign, which I'm not even an expert in campaign, so do with that what you will. Prologue, who cares? Realm of Chaos, okay. Dilemmas, okay. Diplomacy, okay. Cool. Battles. Don't care. Domination, reduce passive income from 20 to 15, and reduce the health penalty and increase the health penalty. Okay, cool. So these are good changes. Less supplies means trades are a little bit more effective, which is good. A lot of domination players thought there was too much money in it. You want screenshots of ROR stats? I'm okay. I'm okay with that. We already talked about them. I'm pretty underwhelmed. Excuse me. And then also this was a thing where some people would pop a cultist. Now, I never saw it work, but I haven't watched that much domination. But people would bring a cultist in, pop arcane, the little power stone, to get a bunch of Winds of Magic regen, and then desummon them, and then summon them again and do it. Now, every time I saw it, they lost that battle because they're spending a bunch of money on Winds of Magic, but you know, it is nerfing that tactic, so maybe it was viewed as not very interactive. Adjusted an issue on certain battle maps, which would result in the snow glowing with radioactive intensity. Yeah. Yeah. Tastes good. The multiplayer campaign fix. Campaign changes were pretty positive overall. All things translate into Immortal Empires 2. Yes. Yeah, the campaign fixes all look pretty good. Like, I didn't go through them very much because this isn't usually a campaign-focused stream, but also most of them were just, we fixed this bug, we fixed this bug, we fixed this bug, and it's, like, not worth going through all of them. The overall summary. Going very quickly because we have 19-ish people now and we started off with 4. The Regiments for Renown, I am underwhelmed. It's all of the most elite infantry in every faction, so it kind of sucks that every faction got similar treatment. Like, there's no cavalry RORs, there's no artillery, there's nothing interesting. It's just like, hey, take your best infantry unit, and they got slightly better. There was the changes that should hopefully make range units better. Cathay got big buffs. Khorne got, honestly, overall buffs. Kislev got overall nerfs. Overall nerfs, because the sleds got hit so hard that everything else getting buffed didn't really do it okay. Nergal. Overall buffs. Which is weird, because wasn't Nergal dominating... He was dominating domination mode, wasn't he? And he got overall buffs. But I guess maybe the unit responsiveness stuff will make him get punished harder. So maybe that's what they're trying to compensate for. But on paper, Nergal, overall buffs. Ogre Kingdoms, overall buffs. Slaanesh. Overall buffs. And Tzeentch, hard nerfed. So there's your TLDR. Yeah. I think domination mode's going to continue to be run by Nergal and Khorne, because those were the two factions I heard the most about last patch, and they both got buffed. Tzeentch got nerfed, which he needed a nerf, but we'll see what happens with Nergal and Khorne. Most interesting will be if the ranged unit changes bring them both down to size, because neither of them gets any benefit from the range changes, so maybe they got minor buffs and everybody else who has ranged units got major buffs, and that'll put them behind. Don't know. I'll be curious to see. Who messaged me? For Poland. Yeah. For Poland, I did mention that. But for Poland's bringing up that the Pink Horror ROR, these guys, could potentially be problematic because they give everybody around them ammunition back, which means the Burning Chariot that can one-shot Lords. It's only limited by its ammunition, and they can give it back. So, yeah. Hey, Cyrus. Stream's ending soon. So, we went through it. We did the TLDR. We did the long version of everything. You hope my day was very knees? Thanks. I am going to be streaming again in an hour and a half. So the patch supposedly launches in half an hour. I will give people time to download it. Then I'll be streaming in an hour and a half to play some multiplayer games with the new patch, see how it feels, and get some games in. It'll be fun. And then later tonight, we have a Warhammer 2 tournament that was scheduled a long time ago, and then CA decided to release a patch on the exact same day that I had a Warhammer 2 tournament. You meanies. But we'll be doing that tonight, so it'll be a 3-stream day. No, Slaanesh got very little changes, sir. Cyrus, yeah. For Cyrus's sake, there's a sentence that sums up the question he just asked. We've been happy with where Slaanesh landed after update 1.1. So it stayed the same. The Pink Horror giving Warp Flame? Yeah. The Pink Horror ROR is probably going to be permanently taken. I'm just worried about all the changes, but we'll see. Overall, I think the meta will continue to be dominated by Khorne and Nergal. But we'll have to see. And that's what I got. Anyway, I'll be back on an hour and a half playing some multiplayer games, so we'll see how that feels. And then later tonight we'll do Warhammer 2 tournament. Okay? Okay. I'm going to go walk the dog. Get out of here. Get out of here, all you rascals.